All right, folks, video is going to be about how to create this circuit in Tinkercad. So we've got a gate, we've got an output. We don't need to worry about these two right here, but we do need a couple of switches and we need a power source. Now we're not going to, in Tinkercad, we're not going to ground the other end of the switch because we don't really have a double pole. So we're going to show how to do that. So in your Tinkercad, you're going to go to Create and create a circuit. And we got lots of stuff in here. So there's breadboards. We need a large breadboard. So we're going to go to All here, showing me a new thing I can get rid of. And we're going to find our way, scroll down until we have found the large breadboard. Oops, let's go to, I do want All. Hold on, let's figure out what I'm doing wrong. I'm not sure why I can't find it by searching, but by scrolling, but if you just start searching breadboard and just click on breadboard, this is the one we want, not this mini or the small. We want just the regular old breadboard, and we click it and drag it in. Okay. Now we are also going to need a power supply. Let's get out of the search here. And we're going to scroll down and we're looking for a power supply. We might need to, again, be in All. And again, we can scroll. If it's not working, I'll just start searching for it. Here's our power supply right here. You could have searched for it. So we want a power supply. Okay. Now, wiring, if you grab onto one of these things, and I like to put one bend in a wire regardless of where I'm putting it. So I'm going to hook wire up from my power supply into my board. Let's make that red. And then we're going to hook from there to there. And of course, let's make that black. And then like we did on our other breadboard, we're going to connect the opposite sides of the breadboard. Whoops, I keep clicking. Undo. Let's be careful with moving things around. You can always undo. So now I'm going to click the end. I'm going to put a couple of bends in here. Go to there. That looks good. Now I'm going to do the same thing with my power. Be careful you're not hooking up to the wrong thing. And we're going to make that red. Okay, so now I've gotten the buses powered. Before we go on, let's double click on this. It is at 5 volts. That's what I want. 5 amps of current is just fine. That will work. Okay, so now my board is powered. Now I'm going to need a couple of switches because we've got 2 switches. So let's just do slide switches here. If we scroll a little bit, we're going to look for slide switches. Let's just search slide switch, and we're going to need a couple of those. Now, as we learned before, just if it's on this side, these two are connected, and if it's on that side, those two are connected. So let's consider the way it is off. I'm going to put those somewhat next to each other. All right, now let's run the power into the common. Now there's a couple ways I can do this. I can run it into here. Now it's connected to the middle, so now my power out is on this side. Okay. I can now hook from the power bar up to the middle here, or I can do this and hook them up that way. Either way works. Okay, because I'm getting power over into the middle here, over here. Now we're not going to ground the other side because we don't need to. We'll talk about that a little bit later. So now I have my 2 switches that are switched, bringing my 5 volts. Now I need to go into an AND gate. And here's where things get a little bit tricky because it may not have the same number. In fact, let's try typing in 74 LS and see what we get. 74. Now, it shows a 7404, which is the same thing, or 7408 is really what we need. 7408 is the quad AND gate. So we're going to put that now. You do need to bridge it across the middle. So we're going to put that over here, bridge it across the middle so that each side is isolated. And we're going to power, notice it says power here, inputs, and then ground over here. So we're going to power the side that says power and ground the side that says ground. Always try to remember to make, red is directly to power, black is directly to ground. All right. Now, remember data sheets? If we go look up a data sheet for a 74LS08, this is what it looks like inside of that chip. We powered it, we grounded it, and notice I've got 4 different AND gates in here that I can use. You don't need to use any particular one of them, just pick one. I think I'll use this one right here. Actually, I take it back. I'll use this guy that has pin 10, 9, and 8 is the output for my inputs and my output. So that means I'm using these 2 as my input and that one as my output. So here's my output for the first switch. Now I like to make a little bend in it and come up a little bit and kind of go across between. And then I'm going to make my way, click again and make my way. I want it to be as straight and neat as possible. And because we are neither ground nor power right now, just make it a color. Okay, so I've got one input. I'm going to go into the input of the other one from here. Again, I like to make little kind of bends in the thing. We're going there. I'm going to make that a different color. You pick what you want. And now I have 2 inputs and an output. Now, the output is going to go, in this case, to an LED. So let's go to basic and let's bring in an LED. You could search for it if you need to. So we actually need 2 things. We need a resistor. Let's bring that in. And we need an LED. We'll bring that in. Okay. Now, the resistor is going to need to be, let's go ahead and make its resistance 220. Now be careful, right now it says kilo ohms. I just want it 220 ohms. Okay. All right. And we can notice that we can flip this. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and stick that dude straight into the output. Now our LED, remember this is the anode, this is the cathode, so we want the anode to be where the power comes in. So I'm going to go ahead and stick that dude, let's see, do I want to do down in there? I'll go ahead and make a wire for it. So we're going to make a wire go from here to here to there. Doesn't really matter what color you make it. I'll make it green. That's just showing me that I'm going to the output of, or I'm coming into the anode. Remember, you got to follow the squirrel, and we're going to go out now to ground. So we're finally going to ground the cathode. And again, if it's connected directly to ground, then we've got a black wire. All right, so this completes our circuit. We have a resistor in the circuit with the LED. Now let's run our simulation and do what this is supposed to do. So if I start my simulation here, this should only light up if I've got both that one and that one. Uh-oh, not coming on. Let me see what I did wrong. Hold on. I know what I did. Maybe you caught it. I put my my ground wire into the power bus. Whoops. Hopefully you saw that and didn't do what I did. Now let's try it. Start simulation. Okay, so I've got 1 switch on, 2 switches on, and I light up, but both of them have to be on. All right, so now that we've done that, now you're prepared to do your seatbelt circuit, in which you have 3 switches, and you're going to have 3 different DIPs. Again, you're going to need your output to be resistor that's around 220, and an LED that's going to serve as your car buzzer. All right, good job, folks. Hope that worked out. See you next time.